they want to use with that health savings account. Another thing that we can do is that we can say, let's form our own groups. This is another thing that our government does not want us to do. Right now, you pretty much have a couple of choices. You can go with your employer, or you can spend a little bit more money and try to get an individual account by yourself. That's pretty much it. But I say, let us form our own groups. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you go to your church and your church says, you know what? We as a church want to get together and go buy our own health insurance, then we ought to be able to do that. Can you imagine if all the Baptist churches, or all the Catholic, or all the Episcopalian, or all the Assemblies of God, or whatever other church that you're a part of in the area said, we're going to take all 5, 10, 100,000 of us, and we're going to go and purchase a health plan. And you went and you got the best deal. You actually made the insurance companies compete against one another for your business. Don't you think that that would help lower your premiums? Yes. Of course. How about this? Because you are a church and we know that you are a compassionate person and that you care about your fellow church member, maybe they can't afford it. So maybe the 1,000 or the 5,000 or the 10,000 people in your church group around your community says, you know what, we're willing to put $5 extra in a month so that we can help another person in our church purchase the health care that they want. Don't you think that's a better idea than the government taking control of it? Yes. That's what we need to do. Maybe it's the Salvation Army that does it. Maybe your employer still offers it because you're happy with it and you want to do it that way. That's fine. We should have the freedom to do that. But again, that takes away power from Washington. Another thing is your medical vouchers. Allow your employer to pay you some money to go out and again either go through their group or another group to purchase your health insurance. Another thing that I agree with is allowing you to purchase health insurance in a different state. Yes. Because that gives you more choices and more power, and it brings on more competition. If Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Arkansas is having to compete against Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Missouri or Aetna or wherever, that's more competition. And that's the way that the capitalistic society should work. And what's great about that, let's say your employer offers you $500 a month for health insurance and you're able to purchase it for, let's say, $350. Well, guess what? You now get to put that extra $150 into your health savings account and start to build it. And if you're a healthy person and God, you know, you go through and you're able to live a pretty healthy lifestyle, you know what? When you get to be 60 or 65, you're going to have $15,000 or $20,000 into the health savings account. Don't you think that would go a long way into maybe paying a more severe medical bill that you may have? But again, the government doesn't want you to have that power and that money in your back pocket. Another good possibility is getting rid of some of these government mandates. And I could probably park here a while, but I'm not going to do that. But there are so many things that I saw when I worked in the health insurance industry that government said you had to do. Because you know what? The government wants to divide the health insurance companies. That's why Nancy Pelosi calls them villains. Because they want to divide. That's not the United States. The United States should be united. That's why we call it the United States. But we have people in Congress that want to divide us. That want to divide the insurance company versus the consumer, versus us, versus the doctors. And the more that they can keep us divided, the more that they can come in and take control. So what we need to do is we need to unite doctors and insurance companies and consumers. We need to unite against the government, and we need to say, you need to leave us alone and let us work out our problems and let us come up with our solutions without your interference. We must seek, from this moment forward, not to build walls of repression, but bridges of opportunity. Not barriers to progress, but roads to prosperity. But who directs prosperity? Who decides success? We do. Not the bureaucrats in Washington, not Congress, and not even the President. In Common Sense, Thomas Paine writes that government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. For when we suffer, our calamity is heightened by reflecting that we furnish the means by which we suffer. It is essential to the security of our nation that we maintain our control. We can remind our representatives and senators that we pay their salary. They work for us, that we furnish the means. We must realize that our desire for our America is within our reach, that we hold the power within ourselves, and that we furnish the means. And we will send a representative to Congress who does not tell us what the world should look like, but who listens to what we desire our nation to be, what we seek for our own freedoms and our own security. A representative with our values, our principles, speaking with our voice. By no means, I know this is not going to be easy. I know I can't just put my name on the ballot and expect people just to come out and vote for me. I know that there are a lot of people just like you here today who are disgusted about where our government is taking us and what they're doing. This is just the first step. What can we do now? I hope that you will get involved. I would love for you to get involved in my campaign. But you know what? There are a lot of other good groups who are fighting the fight, just like we are. Bob Porto is leading a Tea Party movement. You know what? That's a good group to get in, because we hold the same values. I talked with Bob about what the Tea Party is all about. And you know what? We agree. Maybe not necessarily on everything, but on important things we agree. You know what? There are other groups out there. And this is not just about Republicans and Democrats. Let me make that clear. This is not about Republicans and Democrats, because you know what? I get disgusted sometimes at what the Republicans do. I agree. I want to fight for the party that Reagan built. They need to be reminded. And I will agree with you every single day that the 8 representatives that voted for cap and trade, the 8 Republicans, they need to be thrown out of office. So what we need to do is this, is we just need to spread the word. As people ask me, what can you do? Spread the word. Tell them. Tell them what's going on in Washington. Make them become an informed voter. Let them know why this bill, this Obamacare bill, is bad, and why the free market solutions need to be the ones that need to be pressed. If they want real health care reform, there are free market solutions that you just heard. So go and spread the word. Go and tell everybody that you can. That, hey, there's this guy, he's running. Here are his values and his principles. Here's what Vic Schneider's record is. And you can see a definite contrast between us, let me tell you. It's very easy. Okay? Very easy. Let them know. Another thing that you can do, and folks, I know the economy. I know that the way that it is. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are struggling, who are hurting. But you know what? I need money. We know that Vic Schneider, starting in January, is going to go out to the special interest groups and the lobbyists and all these other groups, and he's going to be able to raise a lot of money to run a lot of ads that make him look good. And you're going to see a lot of people who are going to say, wow, man, that Vic Schneider, he's a great guy, man. Look at all this stuff he's done. I know.